Hi guys, today we are going to see something you know interesting. This is called as puppet. Many of you might have seen this puppet, isn't it? Puppet usually in puppet shows they attach with strings, and you can move the hand separately. You can shake the head. You can move this hand, the toes, and so on. Okay, to do this, basically in After Effects, you have a technique which is something very easy to manipulate the images. Okay, to help us in extracting the images from JPEG to PNG, I would also recommend you to use Photoshop, which will easily get you the extractions done. So I'll on the other side open a new project and a new composition, and maybe I'll name the composition as Puppet Show. I'm sorry, it's SHOW. Okay, so I'll just create this composition, and I have a bunch of images here. So these are the images which I have taken for the puppet show. You can see a Chinese girl 3D model we'll see how we manipulate this, and I also have a side pose of a cartoonish character. Let's see how the side pose can be manipulated as well. So if I have an image here, I can start doing the puppet show, but still, there are some restrictions, and I recommend you to have kind of PNG image. So what I'll do is my Photoshop open. Yes, Photoshop is open. I'll just create a new file, or maybe I'll open a file from the projects that we have. I'll take one image. So this is the image that we have. I wanted to convert this image into a PNG. You can see the layers are here. So I'll just double click, unlock this layer, press W for wand. Select all these. You can increase the tolerance, or you can use shift, and then you can proceed. Maybe I'll switch on the QI press for you so that you can see the keys that I'm pressing. Okay, so keep pressing W and select the areas that you don't want. This is one way, or you can increase the tolerance here from 10 to 15. Control D. Now you select. Okay, like this you can select this. Okay, it looks fine. So I'll delete this. Okay, once I delete this, I press Control T. I make this to a proper size like this here, and I'll use the crop tool to get this girl alone as a PNG. There are many ways in which you can do this extraction. I'm doing a method which is okay for me. So extract, Control Shift S, go to select the PNG, and okay, realistic angle 6 PNG, save. Okay, Now come to After Effects, import. You need to choose the PNG one. Okay, this is the PNG. You see the difference? This has a background, this doesn't have a background. Import, drag and drop it here. So you have got the girl here. Okay, so for this girl I need to make a sort of the animation. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a technique called puppet. This is the puppet position pin tool. Okay, just select this, maximize this, scroll button. I'll start from the hands. Maybe I'll keep a puppet point here. This is point number 1, and this elbow is point number 2, and this shoulder is point number 3. Okay, now in my mesh, you see here there is something called as mesh. You open this mesh. When you open the mesh, inside the mesh under the deform, you have puppet pins 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is 1. See, 1 is selected, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, now 1 being selected, I select this and I move. You see a kind of movement is happening. Okay, but still this body is moving. So what I do is I press undo, I come back to the position, I'll pin the hip. It's now pinned. Okay, then I'll also pin the knees, then I'll pin the toes, then I'll pin the neck, then the head. Then similarly opposite of this I'll pin, opposite of this I'll pin, then opposite of this also I'll pin. Okay, now if I move this, you see this is moving separately, and this is also moving separately, and you see this. Okay, so this is how the little puppets can be made. I can shake the head. If I had to make an animation here, just find out what is the puppet pin number. The puppet pin number is 10 here. Okay, you can see 10. So I move this for 2 seconds, then I shake like this, then again 4 seconds, then I shake like this, then I copy these two, control C. Okay, and I come here and paste it. Now play. The puppet animation starts happening. It's as simple as that, and you can also have any other sort of animation that you would like to. Okay, you can select couple of pins and move it together like this, as if she's dancing. Okay, for this again, the keyframes are already there. You can see which keyframe is selected. For this dancing, you can see, okay, these two keyframes, these two are selected, what you see here. Okay, so 13 and 12. Okay, this one, if I bring it closer, this will be faster. I play, you see the hand stopped here. Then again I copy these two, copy paste, then copy this and paste. You see the hand animation happening very faster. Okay, similarly for the other side, if you want to make the animation like however you want. So from here till about a second, I select these two. You should note down the numbers. Okay. So what are the numbers for these two? These two. Okay, that is pin 1 and pin 2. Okay. Based on this pin 1, pin 2, you copy paste, or if you want to do more action, you can do. Say for example, you wanted to move this. This is actually the extension of this. Okay, so whatever animations that you want to make with the puppet, you can make. So these are the basics. You take your time and then animate, and maybe you can add a music to this, and you can make the puppet to dance. Okay, so that is how you spend time in making puppet animation. Add a music track and make the model to dance. So this is one way of doing this puppet, and for the side poses, probably we have taken a walking man, this thing. So I'll take this. This is the side pose. I'll switch off this girl layer, and this one, maybe I have to do some keying. If you don't get the effects and presets, press Ctrl 5 or click on this. You get this panel. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I will uh, maybe go for the color key, KEY. So you can look for color key, drag and drop it on this, select this, and select this. Zoom this. You have to get rid of this. So it's the color tolerance, and it's also the edge thin. Okay, don't make it too thin. You have to check the face details, and if you have the feathering, you can feather the edge, and if you want to have this white outline, you can have. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so now this is done, and this part usually you can uh, remove this. As of now, I'll just go to the transform and scale this to hide it outside. One way you can do like that, or the other way you can just create a mask, and then you can just remove this. Come to the mask. So either you can check from here, or no, you can check from the FX panel. Okay, so this is the mark that you have done. You can invert this. Okay, invert. So when you invert this, you get the figure alone, the stick figure alone. Okay, now with this figure you can start doing the you know the puppet. Similar to what you did earlier, you can go to the puppet. I will define the hip here. Make sure that this layer is selected. I'll define the hip. What happened to my puppet? It's because of the mask. Probably the puppet isn't showing off. Nope. Let me check the FX color key puppet. Yeah, we have the puppet. Puppet engine is advanced. Yes. 1 second. I will just delete the mask and check if Puppet pins. Yeah. So it's because of the mask the Puppet was not pinning. I'll just try to remove this using some other method. We'll just see how this works on the sides. So this is separate. Even the toes you can separate. You see, the foot action can be separated. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, and the funniest part is you can manipulate the head. You can make him look down. Suddenly, the cartoon type, making the head squash and stretch. You might have studied, isn't it? So, if this is the hip, you can manipulate the hip. So, all this is possible here. Okay, you can stretch his, neck. If you want to have a bigger neck, then stretch like this. I can bend down. So in the side poses, it is easy to make some walk cycles. You can make some walk cycles, but again, this is not a 2D rigged. So to some extent, you can make some actions. Okay, small actions that are possible in every stage. Okay, this is all about Puppet. You can please try doing this Puppet, and we are going to see something interesting. Using this Puppet, we'll make a motion poster for a selected movie.